Modern Horizons 3 play boosters. 36 boosters in here. Each pack's guaranteed a foil in every pack. So let's open her up, check her out. I got this pre-order. I bought this one from Stomper, which is in Las Vegas. I saw their ads on Facebook and said, wow, those prices are too good to be true. Let's take a chance. And you know what? It showed up right on time for release. So 36 packs. Let's open her up, check her out. Pack here. Zoom in. "36 packs. Let's go through and just stop on the cards of note and the rares and mythics. Unlike the ones I got out of a bundle, looks like the rares are in front. White of the Reliquary, a black and a green for a 2/2 creature zombie Night Vigilance. When it, you get +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. Sacrifice another creature card. Search your library for a land, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And the rest are going to be commons and uncommons. I'm going to stop here for an uncommon though. Revitalizing Repast for a combination color of black-green. Instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature against indestructible till end of turn. This is a great card. And then on the back of it, you can make a land that taps reduce a black or a green. See if there's anything else worthwhile. Oh, rest are all commons, uncommons. We'll go on to the next pack. I'm just stopping for the mythics and the rares. Foil land, expanding ooze. Well-Tell Stormdrake for a blue and a generic. It's a creature drake, 3/2 flying, hexproof from activated ability or triggered abilities. When it enters the battlefield, exchange control of volatile Stormdrake and target creature and opponent controls. If you do, you get 4 energy tokens and then sacrifice that creature unless you pay an amount of energy equal to its mana value. Victimize. Sundering Eruption, which is one of the new dual mode cards for a red and 2 generic. Sorcery, destroy target land. This controller searches library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. Creatures without flying cannot block this turn. Or you can make a land that it enters the battlefield. You have paid 3 life. If you don't enter the battlefield tapped, it produces red. And the rest are going to be commons and uncommons. Go on to the next pack. These are going pretty fast. It's great. 36 packs. Pack number 3. Token. Deceptive Landscape. Uggin's Labyrinth. There's a great, fantastic hit. I can't believe it because I needed this one. And it is the borderless version Uggin's Library land. Imprint. When this card enters the battlefield, it may exile a colorless card with mana value 7 or greater from your hand. Tap to add a generic or colorless mana. If the card's exiled this way, it produces 2 generic or 2 colorless instead, or you can tap return the exile card to its owner's hand late game. Fantastic. Spymaster's Vault, another rare land. Spymaster's Vault enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a swamp, and taps reduce a black mana. Black and tap. Target creature you control connives X, where X is the number of creatures that die this turn. Angel of Ruins. And the rest are going to be common. So there's a double rare pack, including a fantastic card. Pre-order price for that was like $75. I'm happy to pick that up now because I need that for my colorless deck, which might change into a multiple color deck. We'll see. There's a frog. Grim Savants. It is with the other border. Black 3 colorless creature, zombie warlock. It's only an uncommon, but you know, uncommons are cool too. 3/2 with menace. Enters the battlefield, search your library for a card with mana value less than or equal to devotion to black, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. You get to lose 3 life. Not a bad creature. Kozilek's Command, 2 colorless, X generic, kindred instant, Eldrazi. Choose 2. So kindred instead of tribal. So if you're used to seeing tribal, there you go. It's a new kindred. Choose 2. Target player creates X01 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens with sacrifice this creature. Add a colorless mana. Second option is target player scries X and draws a card. Third option is XL target creature with mana value X or less. And fourth option, XL up to X target cards from graveyards. Not bad. And Sapphire Medallion. 2 generic mana for an artifact. Blue spells you cast cost 1 generic less. Not a bad pack. Another 2 rare pack. Still can't get over that Ugins library. Pack number 4. Got a Spirit Token. Got a Charm. Polluted Delta! Hey, fetch lands. The allied colored fetch lands are back. Polluted Delta, land. Tap, pay 1 life, sacrifice Polluted Delta, search your library for an island or swamp card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Barbarian Ring, and Eldrazi Ravager. Annihilator 1 for 1 colorless, 5 generic, 6/6 Annihilator 1. When this creature attacks, defender player sacrifices a permanent. Sacrifice 2 Eldrazi, return this card from your graveyard to your hand, and you can pay 2 to cycle. This card actually might make the cut in my colorless deck. We'll see. The rest are going to be commons and uncommons. Go on to pack number 5. So far, 1 fetch land out of a box. We'll see how many I get. Springheart Nantuko. 1 green, 1 generic enchantment creature, insect monk, 1/1 with bestow of 1 green, 1 generic enchant creature gets +1/+1. And then when that creature dies, you can bring it into play as a 1/1 creature. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay a green and 1 generic. If it is attached to a creature you control, if you do, you get to create a token that's a copy of that creature. If you didn't, create a token that's a 1/1 green insect creature token. So it is an interesting way of making copies of hopefully non-legendary creatures. Shrieking Drake, fun reprint from Visions, Bloodsoaked Insight, Consigned Memory. The rest are uncommons and commons. Pack number 6. Thopter Token, Sage of Unknowable. Fanatic Ronus, I should say. A green, 1 generic for 1/4. Creature Snake Druid, taps reduce green. Ferocious, if you have a creature with power 4 or greater, this guy actually taps for 4 green mana instead of just 1. Internalize, 2 green, 2 generic. You get to pay that, exile this card from your graveyard, create a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie Snake Druid token with no mana cost. The rest are going to be uncommons and commons. Next pack. That's a card I really wanted. I'm happy to get it. So far, fetch land count is still just 1. Eldamari Corvecdal, I guess. 2 green, 1 generic. Legendary creature, Elf Warrior. It's a 3/3. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. A green and tap 2 untapped creatures you control. Reveal a card from your hand or top of your library. If you reveal a creature card this way, put it on the battlefield. Activate only during your turn. This is now like the best elf commander. I gotta really think if I'm gonna change my elf ball deck around to this guy. This guy is a banger. He's so good, so amazing. Next one is Kappa Cannoneer. A blue 5 generic. It's a 4/4 artifact creature, turtle warrior, improvise, ward 4. Whenever this card or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on this guy. It cannot be blocked this turn. For 6, though, it's expensive, but improvise. The rest are going to be commons and uncommons. There you go. Next pack. That was a good pack. That was a good pack. Another guy I was hoping to get out of that. Next pack. Fish token. Grist, Voracious Larva. Let's see if it's the... Oh, they printed it correctly. Fantastic. Grist, Voracious Larva. 1 green. It's a 1/2. Legendary creature insect. Death touch. Whenever this card or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it enters from your graveyard or you cast it from your graveyard, you may pay a green. If you do, exile this card and return it to the battlefield. Transform it under its owner's control. Transformed, it becomes Grist, the Plague Swarm. It is a 3 loyalty planeswalker with the keyword Grist. +1, create a 1/1 green and black insect creature token, then mill 2 cards. Put a death touch counter on this token if a black card was milled this way. -2, destroy target artifact or enchantment. -6, for each creature card in your graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 1/1 white, black and green insect token. Monumental Henge. It's a land. It taps. It's a land. It enters the battlefield. Tap lets control planes. Tap, produce a white mana. 2 white, 2 generic. Tap. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a historic card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That's it. The rest are going to be commons and uncommons. Next pack. Art card. And it looks like it is art card. Flusterstorm. Not the real thing. Not the art card. Emperor Bones. A black, 1 generic creature. Skeletal Noble, 2/2. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. For a black and 1 generic, adapt 2. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on this card, put a creature card from exile with this card onto the battlefield under your control with a finality counter on it. It gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step. Yay! Bloodstained Mire. Bloodstained Mire is another fetch card. So it taps, pay 1 life, sacrifice Bloodstained Mire, search your library for a swamp or mountain card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. The rest are going to be commons and uncommons. On to the next pack. There is a swamp art card. Mountain? Is it? Okay. Roshin Roaring Prophet. Green, red, 2 generic, 4/4 legendary creature. It's a giant shaman. When it enters the battlefield, mill 6 cards. You may put a land card with X in its mana value, mana cost from them into your hand. Reveal any number of cards with X in their mana value for a tap ability. And when you do, you get to add a number of 2 colorless mana for each card reveal this way. Spend this mana only to cast cards that contain X in its mana cost. The rest are going to be commons and uncommons. On to the next pack. Art card. Twisted Landscape is a common. Detective Phoenix. A red 2 generic 2/2 enchantment creature Phoenix. Bestow for a red and collect evidence 6 to pay this bestow cost. You got to pay a red and exile cards with total mana value of 6 or greater from your graveyard. Flying haste. Enchantment creature gets +2/+2 and flying and haste. You may cast this card from your graveyard using its bestow ability. It's cool. Priest of Titania, great uncommon, a green and 1 generic. It's an elf creature at 1/1, and it taps to produce a green for each elf on the battlefield. The rest are going to be commons and uncommons. That's a Priest of Titania. I think before it was printed, it was like a $10 card, so it is a welcome reprint, though I don't need them. I've got lots. Let's go on. Next pack. Another art card. I want to see some tokens, though. Swamp. Psychic Frog as a borderless card. A blue, a black, creature frog, 1/2. When this card deals combat damage to a player or a planeswalker, you can draw a card. Discard a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Psychic Frog. Exile 3 cards from your graveyard. Psychic Frog gains flying until end of turn. So you're able to exile cards from your graveyard to give it flying, to be able to hit someone. You can discard cards, you can give it bonuses. This thing is cool. I'm a big fan of it. It's a good way of discarding cards from your hand for some kind of payoff, though the payoff is located on the card, so removal will kill it. Decree of Justice is uncommon. Nice little reprint. Going on, rest are commons, uncommons. Next pack. Wrath of the Skies, 2 white, X generic sorcery. You get X energy counters, and then you may pay an amount of energy. Destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with mounted value less than or equal to the amount of energy paid this way. So nice little removal, give you some energy counters, and you don't have to pay all X to be able to destroy things, but it's nice to be able to nice little board wipe. Will it see play? I think there's a lot of cards that are much better than it. You don't have to choose to go through and use the board wipe portion, but who am I to say no? I'm all about the board wipe. Next one is Lelia, the Blade Reforged, which is kind of a reprint from one of the commander sets for red and 2 generic. Legendary creature, Spirit Warrior, haste 2/2. When this card attacks the top card of your library, you may play that card this turn. Whenever one or more cards are put into exile from your library and or your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. She's great. I have a commander deck for her that loves exiling cards from your graveyard. Next pack. Dreadmobile foil. Windswept Heath is fetch line number 3, and this one is goes to get Forest or Plains. Disruptor Flute for 2 generic mana. It is an artifact flash. When it enters the battlefield, choose a card name. Spells with a chosen name cost 3 generic to cast, more to cast. Activate abilities of sorcerers with the chosen name can't be activated unless they are mana abilities. So it's great being able to make it so your opponent's main card is going to cost more, or even better, you can go through and make it so their planeswalkers don't work, or this card does a lot of things. It's pretty darn good. I think you'll see lots of play in. I might see some commander play. I think mostly it's going to see play in Modern as a sideboard card. Drazi Spawn, Foil Forest, Explore Hydra. Kozilek the Broken Reality, 9 generic mana for a 9/9 legendary creature Eldrazi. When you cast a spell, up to 2 target players each manifest 2 cards from their hands. For each card manifested this way, you draw a card. Other colorless creatures you control get +3/+2. This guy is bonkers because it manifests the top 2 cards of your deck. If you want to, you can always force your opponent to do it, or it's a good card, and your colorless creatures, including the cards you've gone through and manifest, are going to get that +3/+2. So those are actually 5/4s. This guy's bonkers for 9. I'm thrilled I got that guy. I got one of the 3 big bad Eldrazi named creatures. On to the next pack. Nice art card. Ripples of Undeath. 1 black, 1 generic enchantment at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. Mill 3 cards. Then you may Pay 1 generic and 3 life. If you do, put a card from among those cards into your hands. So yeah, you got to pay a colorless and 3 life. In Commander, that's not so bad. In Modern, that gets kind of costly. I don't know if that's going to make many Modern decks, but you know what? Color me impressed if you're able to do it. Next one is Emerald Medallion, 2 generic mana. Artifact, green spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast. It's good. Let's go on to the next pack. Power Balance, 2 red, and this enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost if the 2 spells have the same mana value. Okay. Going on to the next pack. Art card. Flare of Duplication, the first flare I've seen. 2 red, 1 generic. Instant, you may sacrifice a non-token red creature rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. It's a good little card. Be able to copy things for free. All you have to do is sacrifice creatures. Is a great addition to the game. Will these be overpowered? Are they overpowered? Probably. We've already seen them as being banned in Arena because they are probably a little bit too strong, but Wizards wants to sell cards, so we'll see. Next one's Pearl Medallion, 2 generic mana. This is a great reprint from Tempest as an artifact, and then white spells you cost 1 less. Thought Not Seer. This is a special guest card for a colorless, 3 generic for a 4/4 creature Eldrazi. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it and exile that card. When it leaves the battlefield, target opponent draws a card. On to the next pack. That's not a bad pack, 3 rares. Not bad at all. Next pack. Worm token. 6 is 1 green mana, 2 generic. It's a 2/4 legendary creature Treefolk with reach. Whenever he attacks, you get the military cards. You may put a land card from among them into your hand as long as it's your turn. Non-land permanents cards in your graveyard have retrace. You may cast a permanent. Cast permanent cards from your graveyard by discarding a land card in addition to paying their other costs. This card is fantastic. Goes in a lot of different decks. I think it's going to see play in Modern. A 2/4 is a good sized body for 3. And on top of that, you're being able to mill cards, be able to put land cards from cards you mill into your hand, and then be able to play the permanent spells. Pretty good. I'm a fan. I'm going to play it. Next pack. Art card. It's adorable. Swap. Breathe your last. Archway of Innovation. Archway of Innovation is a land that comes into play. Tap unless you control an island. Taps to produce a blue, and tap. Next spell you cast this turn has improvised. Your artifact spells can help you cast the spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating this mana abilities pays for 1 generic. Power Stone and best for commons and commons. Next pack. We're just about 2/3 of the way through this box. It's alright so far, not bad. Archway Innovation, same card except this one's the borderless version. So it's cool. It's cool. Great for artifact decks. Best for commons and commons. Next pack. 2 rare packs, Psychic Frog, which we've seen before, but this is the regular border, and Genku, Future Shaper. A white, a blue, 2 generic. It's a 2/5 legendary creature, Moonfolk Wizard. Whenever another non-token permanent you control leaves the battlefield, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Create a creature token with those characteristics. It's 2/2. What you can choose. Number 1 is a 2/2 white fox with vigilance. Second one is a 1/2 blue merfolk with flying. Next one is a 1/1 black rat with lifelink. And you can pay a white, a blue, and 3 colorless to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. It's cool. It's interesting. This would be great in a white-blue flash deck. And not more I could say about that because I don't think it's going to see modern play. This is another great card for Commander. It's definitely... deck feels more and more like a Commander Legends set than a modern set. So there's been a few modern cards, but mostly it's just all about that Commander. And hey, there's a art card. Shadow of the Second Sun. The second one I've seen. First one I've seen out of this box. 2 blue for generic. Enchantment Aura, Enchant Player. At the beginning of Enchanted Player's post-combat main phase, there is an additional beginning phase after this phase. The rest are going to be commons and uncommons. Let's go on to the next pack. Copy token. Cranial Ram. Man, I get a lot of those foils. Crabmination. 2 black, 4 colorless, or 4 generic for 5/5 creature crab demon. Emerge from artifact. You can pay 2 black, 5 generic. You may cast this spell by sacrificing an artifact and paying the emerge cost reduced by that artifact's mana value. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent exiles the top card of their library, a card at random from their hand and their graveyard. You may cast a spell from among those cards exiled this way without paying its mana costs. It's going to be commons and uncommons. Next pack. Cranial Plating. There we go. Swamp. Glimpse of the Possible. Warren Soul Trader. A black 2 generic. For a 3/3 creature zombie goblin wizard. Great keywords for pay 1 life and sacrifice another creature. Create a treasure token. Start effect with tap, sacrifice this artifact. Add 1 mana of any color. It doesn't come into play tap, so it is going to immediately have great payoff, especially for those Grenzo decks. Branching Evolution, 1 green, 2 colorless. This is another great reprint. Enchantment, if 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, twice that many +1/+1 counters are put onto that creature instead. And Snow Covered Waste as another uncommon. Those are commons and uncommons. Go on to the next pack. Art card. It is a Angel Demon. Obstinate Gargoyle. And Flooded Strand. Hey, another fetch land. This time it searches to get a plains or an island. Shrink Drake. Commons on commons. There's an art card. And the rest of the pack. Abstruse Apparition for a white, a black, a 2 generic. It's an instant devoid. Exile target non-land permanent. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. You may spend colorless mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. Fun little devoid card. And it's borderless version. The rest are commons and uncommons. Victimize. Stomp. Next pack. Looks like I got 4 packs left to go, including this guy. Phyrexian Germ Token. Aether Spike. Invert Polarity. 2 blue and a red. Instant. Choose target spell. Then flip a coin. If you win the spell, gain control of that spell, and you may choose new targets. If you lose a flip, you just have to counter that spell. So this card is great because either you can steal the spell or it's just countered. Fantastic spell. Barbarian Ring. Okay, rest of commons and uncommons. 3 packs left. Come on, Big Juzzy. So far, this box has been a little bit light on fetch lands. You're supposed to get about 5 in a box. Necro Bloom. White, black, green, and 1 generic. It's a 2/7 creature plant. It's legendary. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 0/1 green plant creature token. If you control 7 or more lands with different names, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token instead. Land cards in your graveyard have Dredge 2. You may return a land card from your graveyard to your hand and mill 2 cards instead of drawing a card. Toxic Deluge, great reprint, and now it's modern legal for a black 2 generic. Sorcery, as an additional cost to cast a spell, pay X life. All creatures get -X till end of turn. Victimize with alternate border. Rest your commons and uncommons. Let's 2 packs left. Come on, big hits. Some fetch lands would be nice, but I'd like to see another big Eldrazi. Because who doesn't like Eldrazi? Plains, Corrupted Shapeshifter, Flare of Cultivation. I guess I'll take a Flare. Flare Cultivation, 2 green, 1 generic sorcery. You may sacrifice a non-token green creature spell rather than pay this cost to your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal those cards and put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, and then shuffle. It's not bad. Rest your commons and uncommons. Let's go on to the last pack. Come on, big Eldrazi. I guess 1 big Eldrazi out of the box. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Spawn Gang Commander. That was a good one. I'll stop and talk about it because it's uncommon. 2 red, 3 generic. Creature Eldrazi Goblin. Devoid 2/2. When you cast this spell, create a 3/0/1 colorless Eldrazi tokens, which sacrifice this creature, add a colorless mana. Pay a colorless and 1, sacrifice an Eldrazi. Spawn Gang Commander deals 2 damage to any target. Echoes of Eternity. It's an Eldrazi card. It's just not the big ones. 3 colorless plus 3 generic. Kindred Enchantment Eldrazi. If a triggered ability of a colorless spell you control or another colorless permanent you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. When you cast a colorless spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. A copy of a permanent spell becomes a token. So if it's not legendary, yes, you get a copy of it. It's great. Nice little card. And then Ruby Medallion, 2 generic mana for an artifact. Red spells cost 1 colorless less to cast. And the rest are commons and uncommons. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I enjoyed making it. I hope you have a fantastic week. And remember to keep it rolling. Okay. Going on to the next pack. Okay, Idol of False Gods. Idol of False Gods is 2 generic mana, Kindred Artifact Eldrazi, a generic and a colorless tap. Create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn. Token with sacrifice this creature, add a colorless. Whenever another Eldrazi you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on this card. As long as this card has 8 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it's a 0/0 creature in addition to its other types and has Annihilator too. This card will probably be an auto-include in all colorless decks from here on out because it is just a good way to be able to make some extra mana. Late game, it is just a big nasty creature. I like it. I approve. Harboring of the Seas, 2 blue, 1 generic. It's a 2/2 creature merfolk wizard. Non-basic islands are islands, or non-basic lands are islands. So anything that is not considered to be a mountain or straight up island, straight up swamp, etc., is just an island. This is the new Blood Moon, but for blue, and mono blue is just gonna love it, and it's gonna be rocking this thing as either a merfolk deck or a wizard deck or straight up. I'm a big fan. Can't wait to put that in the deck. Going on to the next pack. Cat Warrior token. Mountain. Razor Right Ambush. Kudo, King Among Bears. Hey, they got the bear stats correct. It is for a green, a white. It's a 2/2 legendary creature bear. Other creatures have power, base power, and toughness of 2/2 and are bears in addition to their other types. So everything is now a bar. If you have a 1/1 token, it's a bear. If your opponent has an 8/9/9, no, it's a 2/2 bear. This is cool. I'm a big fan of this guy. This is going to be a fun card in a lot of different decks. And then Victimize. All the rest are commons and uncommons. Next pack. get through this reasonable amount of time. Cyclops Superconductor. Imsker, Iron Eater, 6 generic, black and a red for a 5/5. Legendary creature demon, affinity for artifacts. A spell costs 1 generic less to cast for each artifact you control. Whenever this card enters the battlefield, you may draw X cards and lose X life, where X is half the number of artifacts you control, rounded down. A red and 3 generic sacrifice artifact. It deals damage equal to the sacrifice artifact's mana value to any target. Nice. Fledgling Dragon. Rest are commons and uncommons. Next pack has another big hit. Come on. Island. Landscape. Guide of Souls for a white. It's a 1/2 creature human cleric. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life and get an energy counter. Whenever you attack, you may pay a number of 3 energy. When you do, put 2+1/+1 counters and flying counter on target attacking creature. It becomes angel in addition to its other types. Fun, 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 fun. And it's not a bad card. Crick, Son of Yagma for 3 black for Phyrexian mana, so you can pay a black or 2 life for each one of those Phyrexian mana, and 4 generic is a 2/2 lifelink for each black mana in a cost. You may pay 2 life rather than pay that mana. Whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this card. The rest are commons and uncommons.
And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please take the time to like the video and subscribe if you'd like to stay updated. Have a great day and keep them rolling.